Thank you for joining us today in episode 70 of the Pool Chasers podcast. As always, our mission is to help educate and inspire in the form of a podcast. Before we get into the episode, I just wanted to give you a quick reminder that the New Orleans live tour is just a few days away. It's on Wednesday, November 6th from 5 to 7 p.m. in room 291 of the Convention Center. And thanks to our sponsors Pentair, Ledge Lounger, and Arenda Technologies, the event is now free. That's right, it's free. So we'll be interviewing Kyle and Justin Peak from Pool Kings, and there will also be a cash bar available. We still need a head count, so if you're planning to attend, please register at poolchasers.com/events or click the link in the write-up below. On this episode of the podcast, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Alan Smith and his son, Jeff Smith, to discuss how they handled their relationships with pool service companies. We believe they do a great job in bridging the gap between a remodel company and a service company, and we discussed this throughout the episode. We also discussed their Pool Service Appreciation Day, which they have now been doing for 7 years. This event has amazing food, lots of great training classes, and even live demonstrations. This year, the event will be on November 16th from 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., which is on a Saturday. Jeff discusses many of the details in the episode, and a full list of details can be seen by clicking the link in their write-up or the show notes. Now, let's jump into the episode. Welcome to your go-to podcast for the pool and spa industry. My name is Tyler Rasmussen.
And my name is Greg Villafania. And this is the Pool Chasers Podcast.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today, Alan and Jeff. Appreciate you guys both being here.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Can you please introduce yourselves to listeners if they haven't heard your previous episode?
You bet. I'm Alan Smith, owner of Alan Smith Pool Plastering.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Smith, sales and marketing manager for the residential division at Alan Smith Pool Plastering.
Thank you. I've always kind of wondered, since we've been talking, Jeff, like how it is working with the father and son relationship. So how is that for you guys?
Oh, it's great. Actually, Alan has given me a lot of freedom, a lot of trust in me to do what I think is right for the sales and marketing. And I appreciate that trust he's given to me. And we have a great relationship. There's never no raised voices, no fighting matches like you'll see on TV shows, fathers and sons. It's not like that at all. Very open door policy. We can walk in there, and he's pretty much a father figure to a lot of people at the company. So it's great.
So if we could compare your relationship to any reality TV show, what would it be? Like Little House on the Prairie, or
we don't have a lot of
reality show.
We don't have a lot of time for TV at Alan Smith Pool Plastering.
Yeah.
How about you? How's it working with your son?
Well, I was kind of waiting to hear what he would say since I've never asked him that question myself, but no, it's fantastic. Working with Jeff, my other son, Chris, works with us too. He's, works for Jeff as a residential estimator. No, Jeff's awesome. He brings to the table integrity, hard work, super ambitious, and he's driven, and he's smart, and so it works really well. And we have just a super open relationship. We don't always agree on everything, but we're able to discuss it and talk it through. So it's a great relationship, and it's just awesome to have both him and Jeff and even my wife, Teresa, involved with the business.
Yeah, I know we were just talking about sales, Jeff, in the truck, and I thought that was really cool that, we're talking about doing sales with integrity and being honest with customers and being sincere. And you were pretty much saying that you've only had your dad as the primary influence in your life, and that's just, you don't know any other way but to do it the right way. And I just thought that was that's really cool.
Yeah, blessed to have a great example. And you can read all the books in the world, listen to all the podcasts, but if you have a living, breathing example in front of you, that means more than any of those other media for learning. So very blessed.
For sure. Has it helped having him come in the last couple of years as far as transitioning the business, from, I don't want to say old time, but from an older...
You can say old time, that's all right.
From old an older, old school generation, old school thought mentality, and then bringing somebody in to kind of, I know you've given him a lot of responsibility. So how has that been for you, the transition, or has it helped out in the business?
It's more than helped out. I think it's been the crucial component we needed, is to have very well college educated, finance, business, really good as far as information systems, understanding that collectively, bringing it into an older school, very well-oiled machine, and bring it in with patience and understanding and sensitivity as far as having to adapt that into a system like what we had. So fortunately, he's my son. And so he's able to explain things to me in a way maybe somebody else I hired couldn't quite as well. And so I know we wouldn't be anywhere close to where we're at right now without Jeff's involvement, obviously, and growth. And he's just learning and growing constantly. And all the success in the future is going to really hinge around Jeff and people that bring in these new ideas and how to do things. 100%. Like, I agree.
We bring a lot of different things to the table, and I think it works really well. We don't really step on each other's toes. He does more operations, production, industry stuff, and I'm sales, marketing, and it works really well. He trusts me, I trust him, and we're able to just go off on our own little paths and grow the business. So it works really well.
How close do you guys work together? I mean, the day-to-day, do you guys see each other every day, most of the day? Like, what does that look like?
Well, it all depends because we're both so busy. But we have a lot of things that cross paths, like on pricing and sales and how you do something. Philosophical conversations of what we're going to do with prioritizing our time and our resources for different needs that arise, identifying, direction and goals, and just interacting with certain people, auditing things, asking questions back and forth. So it's constant, and sometimes it's scarce in a week. We would see each other 3 or 4 times, and then sometimes it's 3 or 4 times in a day. So it really depends. And then we have our meetings, scheduled meetings and managers meetings and time like that. It's a little hit or miss here or there, but it's constant.
If I ever need him for something, he's always available. So open door policy, phone, text, emails, and one of the big reasons why we're successful, he's like that with pretty much all the employees at the company.
He has the number to my fishing boat, so if I'm not around, he knows how to call me on the backside of San Clemente Island fishing.
So how long have you been in the industry? I mean, when did you get involved?
Yeah, when I was about 14 years old, in the summer times, I got my introduction to the pool industry with, actually we were talking about earlier, stripping pools. So I was cleaning up all the plaster chips, load them up in wheelbarrows, pushing up a ramp. It taught me hard work. And
he got drug out of bed in the morning.
Yeah.
He didn't tell you that part.
I was going to say, how did he do?
When you're the son of the owner, you don't really have a choice. You got to show up the next day. So it was good for me. And I'm really cheap too. So I didn't charge a lot.
Child labor, baby. The funny thing is you always wonder how hard to push your kids, right? And my other son was the same thing. As a business owner, you have the business to be able to expose them to it. A lot of people that work for somebody else, they can't bring one of their kids into the business and teach them that way, right? But when you have that ability to do it, it's really cool. So I remember brought Jeff in and started working on very hard work, 5-gallon buckets full of plaster chips, clear them out the pool, your legs, your arms, your shoulders. It's heavy, really heavy. And doing that. And so, after a few days, he had blisters and fingers were bleeding and he was sore and almost in tears. He didn't want to go, next day. And I said, what are you going to do? He said, I want to go to the beach. I'm going to hang out. And I'm going, wrong, one more day, right? So now Teresa thought maybe a little hard on him, my wife, come on, and some of the neighbors were going, don't you think you're pushing your kids a little hard? You get that, right? So a couple of weeks later, I'm sitting there and I'm walking down the hallway and he's got, I remember it was Mike Mekovich and David Ray, 2 of his friends, right? And they're in there and I hear them talking and Jeff's got a pocket full of money. He's getting paid, right? Mm-hmm. And they see that. And I remember him saying, well, do you think we can work with your dad? Do you think he'd hire us, And he goes, no, it's too hard for you guys, and he was kind of trying a little bit of that,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I kind of thought, okay, we got it. And it wasn't 5 days a week. I think it was 3 days a week. I made him work and maybe 4. So, that pride of working and having money in your pocket and it was hard work. And so I kind of cracked up and that made me feel a lot better, right? Because it was worth it.
Yeah. And you actually, you get used to it. It's extremely hard. And looking back, we did it from 14 years old to about 19 in the summer. And you look back and why did I do that? And well, I definitely have a lot more credibility with some of the guys that are still working for us because they remember me side by side with them down in there doing that. And it just helps and then instills that hard work. And
but it's used for so many things. Like you get that grit at an early age. I mean, you're going to go to college, you're going to go join the military, whatever it is that you're going to do. It's training you to work hard, stay focused, and try not to complain too much. Just
and
do your best to...
The old adage, hard work never hurt anybody. And I thought, they'll know what hard work is like, and they can make that decision. I can work hard, and if he decided to be a pool finisher or work hard, I'd be proud of him, just as proud as I am now, because if he's successful in that, that's fine. But do I want to do that, or do I want to go to college and get really educated and maybe do something that's different than using my back? Maybe I can use my brain more. But so I wanted that balance, so he had a taste of it, so he knew.
Very cool.
So like 14 to 19 years old, I was summer job. Really never thought I'd be working for the family business full time. And I did come back when I was about 30 years old, and I've worked most roles inside the office. Once again, you're like, well, why was I doing, phones, accounting, payroll? And you look back on it, and as I progressed and, I was running the marketing, running the sales, you're glad you did all those jobs, because they all does come up later on, and you have a deep, thorough understanding of the business. So it's very glad I did all those different roles at the company from 30 years old to right now about 37 years old.
And that was a great time. The maturity level it's such when you come into a business working for other people now here, and it's not such a bad place to work, right? And then, but also now that he has all that inside baseball knowledge, right? And the mechanic, we have a lot of moving parts at a company like ours, right? So now he's able to move forward and progress in our business with the maturity and the expertise to make decisions based on very sound operational information. And that's crucial. He knows more about a lot of it than I do, right? So that's okay. He's smarter than I am. I'm still better looking, but he's smarter than I am. So, so we're just, asking the question, how's it work? It's, couldn't it be better? I mean, it's just worked out like a dream for us.
You to go into it not thinking you're ever going to work in the family business, and probably a lot of other people think the same thing. And then it started getting more attractive, seeing them grow and seeing them turn in more than just a plaster company. I can kind of see where I fit in more. I potentially fit in. I wouldn't just be, nothing wrong with just being a plaster installer or a tile installer, but I wasn't really my natural skill set or desire. And now I could see it starting to grow, and I could see what it could be. And that's when I jumped back on board. So
did the addition of like the outdoor environment and the different type of things you guys started to do, like the other parts of the pool, that kind of
that played a part in it. It got a little more exciting, a little more room for growth and opportunity. And I know for years you sold about the same. They were doing very well as a company, very profitable, but they were comfortable.
We're in a niche.
They were in a niche. They're very comfortable, and it looked like they were ready to get out of their comfort zone a little bit. And I could see where I could fit in and help change things. And that's big for me. I like to help move the needle. I was just joking with my dad the other day. It's like, I like to make good numbers go up and bad numbers go down. So
he's really good at identifying that and focusing in and solving those issues. And you need that in a business of our size.
Right.
Right. And he came at the right time because, we were, we call fat, dumb, and happy for years. And, but you evolve or die in businesses. You really have to. And I guess one of my strengths is made to look down that tunnel of time and see where business industry goes, what our threats are and all that, and identify changing our complete business practice operation into this growth mode right before the crash. And with that, I know we were going to need substantially well-trained or people with good business minds, people you can trust to take that ball and turn it over a lot of different ways and figure out the best way to do things. And so that's what we've done. It's been good because, we allow each other to make mistakes, don't beat each other up over it because our intentions are always good. And a lot of grace. That's my saying, let grace abound. Grace means unmerited favor. You give people the tools to do it and let them go, and if they make a problem or an issue, you revisit it and correct it, make sure it doesn't happen again. And so we've been good at that with each other because I make mistakes and he catches them and very graciously points them out to me too.
Very cool.
So Jobber is constantly updating and adding new features to their software. That's one of the things we like most about them. As technology changes, so do our customers. We're happy that Jobber is always on top of it. And now for your update on what's new on Jobber.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Jobber has just integrated with FleetSmart. This is great because it will allow you to see where your vehicles are on the map in real time. With the FleetSmart plugin, this will allow you to dispatch more efficiently, improve your response time, shorten appointment windows, and even give you instant insights to vehicle diagnostics. To learn more about live GPS powered by FleetSmart, visit the Help Center or reach out to the Jobber team via chat or phone. If you're not yet using Jobber, we encourage you to try it out by going to getjobber.com/poolchasers. That's getjobber.com/poolchasers, or click the link below. So I want to jump into kind of the main topic here that we want to focus on is the relationships between pool service company and a pool remodel or resurfacing company, the kind of relationships that are developed through those. So what has been your experience with that?
Well, I'll start that out. The beginning of our business, and I said this in an earlier podcast, when I first started in the business in 81, I recognized a source of job leads was through the pool service community. Each service guy will have 50 to 100 pools en route, and that's 50 to 100 potential customers. And so I started talking to them, explaining what we're doing, forming relationships, eventually get involved with IPSA, then UPA, and going to meetings and cultivating those relationships and listening and going to meetings to be there for questions, transparency, take blowback when necessary. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What can we do better? And to tell you the truth, I think we've done just a little over 30,000 pool remodels. I could probably hang 15,000 pools on direct referrals from pool service men. So without the pool service community, we would not be what we are. They built our business. Tremendous industry, got lifelong friends throughout there, a lot of very loyal people. So it was really good, and interacting and working and investing with them and their time and what they do and their trade associations and trying to give back has been a main source of philosophically what I've done since day one. Instinctively, I just did that, So, that's how we started. And then when Jeff came along, he's saying, do you realize what a wonderful asset that is? Do you have any idea, how good and novel that is? And I didn't really. I just did it. And, so he builds on that, really focuses in on the meetings and IPSA, UPA meetings and reach outs and perks and to even the fact that we have that Service Men's Appreciation Day, which I'm sure Jeff wants to explain. So you agree, Jeff? That's a good synopsis of that?
Yeah, and I think something that you've always done different. And I got a great example, just how you see the world differently than everyone else. What I see other companies doing is they look at pool service company, service tech as almost like a antagonistic, not a good relationship with some of these guys. And I've never understood that because I've always seen Alan has always been very appreciative, very willing to work with them and talk with them and work things out. And that's just what I've realized. That's not normal. There's a lot of plasters and service techs that are button heads a lot, and I don't think it has to be that way. And how you've changed that is by going to the IPSA meetings, the UPA meetings, talking with people. We have a lot of genuine, good relationships and friendships with a lot of these guys, and that's just something that I thought that was normal, that everyone might have done that, but when I go out and talk to the people, that's not normal, I guess.
And the good part about that is, and thank you, Jeff, for saying that when you get to know people, there's a lot of room for error now because they know you. They know your intentions are good, your character's good. And so if there's a misunderstanding, rather than just getting fireballed at a meeting, or you don't know the person very well and you assume the worst, they know you. They know that we're always trying to do our best. If we do make a mistake, it was unintentional, or we'll fix it. And so you have a lot of latitude for that. And so we kind of get that reputation, at least I hope we do, I think we do, that if something does go that way, they ask you. I've had a few times where that hasn't happened, and it's frustrating. But for the most part, it's establishing a relationship. Like so many businesses, relationship driven. That's kind of just how we decided to do it.
We take it really seriously when a service tech refers us. We know you're putting your name on the line, the service techs, because that plaster's their pool. Now the homeowner kind of puts it on the service tech for, hey, that's your guy you referred. So that we really respect that, hey, you're trusting us to come handle your pool, and we know their name's on the line. So we take that extremely seriously. And they know we got their backs. If something goes wrong, they know we're going to come out. We're going to try to
Right.
fix things. We're going to make it right. And that's taken over 30 years to kind of build that, but it's really important to us.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of service guys are gun shy because they've had relationships where they've been burned by a plaster, doing poor work or not finishing the job. But there are times, though, where it is a challenge. And, usually everything's going fine, but, that's not life. So you do have your challenges and issues. If you have a pool finish that starts to have an issue 6 months, a year, 2, 3 years later, and we seriously believe and we know that it might be water chemistry driven, and they're the ones servicing it, and they refer the pool to us, and we have to somehow speak the truth. We say, okay, this is why we think it's doing it and all this stuff. Let them know. Let the homeowner know, and it's that who's throwing who under the bus. Is it really thrown under the bus? And that's a real area that you have to navigate very sensitively. I think we've done pretty well. Sometimes we've fallen on our face. But most of the time, we try to talk it through, and we've stepped up to the plate and covered things when we shouldn't, especially on guys that really made a mistake. But that's always been a challenge, because you can lose an account if they seriously think it's something you did wrong and you're blaming them, or if they just don't want to get blamed for it, because it's an expensive fix. So that's the part where most plasters have a real problem with the service community is on finish deterioration or problems and who's responsible, the finger pointing. I like to say the swimming pool industry national coat of arms is this. I'm crossing my fingers on my chest here, everybody pointing at each other. And we've really tried to, and with Jeff's help recently, done a lot better, be at all the meetings, be transparent. Let's talk about it. What am I supposed to do from my position? What are you supposed to do from your position? How do we bridge this? That was Cal Poly's research was a lot about bridging that. And let's discover this together so when we do have those issues, we can talk through it rather than be adversarial. We can build these bridges and how to prevent it. So those are some of the challenges, one of the challenges we've had,
I want to give a lot of credit to our commercial division manager, Kevin Koska. He's actually was a former IPSA chapter president, service tech himself for 13 years. He's been working for Alan for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
He really has done a lot as far as before I started working there. He was involved
Outreach.
with the outreach, and the service community knows they can call Kevin if they have a problem with the plaster, and he'll go out and look at it, and he'll never charge. He'll never be inconvenienced by it. He was a service tech. He understands. He's been in the shoes of those guys, and he's willing to go out and look at things and help behind the scenes. And that's a lot of credit given to Kevin.
Yeah, and if it's an issue that we did, he'll, 100%. We want to be responsible for anything we're in charge of, right? We don't like to push our responsibilities on other people. So you don't have to ask us twice to fix something we caused. And Kevin understands that, and he'll go out and call a spade, which is I like a lot. So really trust him. And Jeff's right. Kevin's been a huge asset for us coming from the service industry.
Our passion to seek pool industry knowledge and being able to share that knowledge with you is the reason we started Pool Chasers. Turns out Pentair has several ways for you to gain knowledge as well. Take, for example, the Pentair Master Service Program. This is a program designed to recognize dealers, service technicians, and other pool professionals for completing desired training modules. It gives you the tools you can use to troubleshoot Pentair installations in the field and become a master of Pentair product knowledge. Be rewarded for educational activities designed to enhance your Pentair knowledge as you move through the certification levels. With 3 levels to work through, becoming a certified Pentair professional has never been easier. It's training that rewards you and your business. But the real value comes from building your confidence in the field to ensure the customer loyalty you need to keep your business growing. We encourage you to check this out. So to become a certified Pentair professional today, visit pentairpartners.com or click the link in the write-up below.
So how do you think we can make the relationship between the pool service companies and the remodel companies better? Because I feel like when we're doing service, we don't quite understand what you do, and you don't quite understand what we do. And it makes it so much easier to, point the finger at you, and it's so much easier for you to point the finger at us. It just doesn't ever get resolved. We're just, trying to find somebody to blame for a problem that's happened. So how do you think that we can just make that better?
Well, I don't know if I completely agree with the premise of your question. I don't think we're trying to find fault with somebody else. I think you have honest. Some people might try to find fault and get rid of it. They just don't want it to be their fault, and they'll believe anything else. But I think most people we have honest opinions that it might be different. I think education, let's go back to that, education. The more we're educated, again, Greg Garrett had a wonderful podcast with you talking about the reference material you can go to. There's absolutes on a lot of these things. And let's discover that and what this absolute is, and then we'll know basically who's responsible. I think IPSA, UPA, NPC working together collaboratively. We use, the Plasters Council uses IPSA Basic Training Manual to teach out of for our own forensic analysis of pools. And I think the more the service industry knows that we're doing that and how we're doing that, through going to our classes and all that, I think it'll help with your question of how you bring it together. And honesty and integrity, and people standing up being responsible for what they are. Unfortunately, we're full of people. You got some plasters that are just going to blame somebody else no matter what, and there's service guys that do the same thing. So it comes down to human character. But once you have absolutes about what things are, and it's pretty definitive, then at that point it's obvious. But forming relationships, like I just said earlier, you got to reach out and get a relationship with somebody and get to know them, and just get yourself hooked up with a really good, honest contractor or service group of people and form those relationships. And we've done a really good job at that. I mean, most of all the relationships are very good, very few contentious ones. But as long as you have people doing business and there's money exchange, you're going to have some contentions, and it's just business, right? Hurt feelings, misunderstandings. But as long as you keep that open line of communication, which is what we try to do, and Jeff encourages by going to these meetings, and here we are, open to the world. Ask me any question. Anybody here had a problem with the job we did? Let's talk about it in front of everybody. See what happened, what went wrong, your perspective, my perspective, how we fixed it. Well, are we willing to step forward and do that in front of everybody so they see your motive and intentions? Now, if you do more of that, you're going to fix what you just said, or bringing people together. And then with good education and facts. It's not always easy, but that's been our philosophy, and I think we've done pretty well with it. By our Service Appreciation Day, how many people show up for that?
Yeah, that's really cool. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I'll let Jeff kick that off and talk about that.
Yeah, it's an event we put on. It's called Pool Service Appreciation Day. We've been doing it since 2013. And it all kind of stemmed from, I would go back in about 2012, Alan and I would tag team a lot of the IPSA UPA meetings. And I always noticed when other vendors would speak, you'd have some people kind of paying attention and some people on their phones. But then when I would notice they're watching Alan speak, and he wasn't pitching them, he was generally trying to educate everybody. All eyes were on Alan. And we went to probably 20, 30 of these meetings together, and I just noticed the same thing over and over and over. So I just thought, well, rather than having 10, 15 people in a meeting, what if we had 100 people come to our shop and we put on these classes that these guys really seem to think it's pretty valuable, to paying attention. So I just said, okay, let's see what happens. We put on an event. What would make it kind of interesting? Let's do some, free pancakes. Let's get some vendors involved. Let's do some raffles. Let's have a live plastering demonstration. Let's have some good, solid classes that they're not going to get at other sources. And let's just do it on a Saturday that people can actually attend it. And in 2013, we weren't really sure how people were going to show up. And lo and behold, about 40, 50 people show up, and it went really well. So we said, okay, let's make it an annual event. So here we are 7 years later, and we're about to put on another one, November 16th. And the theme this year is moving the industry forward. So we're trying to be more innovative classes, teaching on UV ozone technology, and trying to step ahead rather than be one step behind. We want to push forward as an industry. With a lot of help from the Pool Chasers forums, we put out some polls to see what classes were important to the service community. Like Alan was saying, we do like to listen. And we have classes from Pentair on the UV systems, another UV ozone class from some other industry professionals. So it's a good event, and it's free.
Yeah, we try to a platform for a lot of really good education in one place in one day. Yeah, we like to feed them. We make homemade carbonated buttermilk pancakes, my grandmother's recipe in the morning for everybody. They're delicious, right? And very fattening. And then a taco cart and a big raffle. And so, yeah, we do demonstrations like plastering a big wall. We show them how the finishing techniques are done and talk them through it, expose aggregate. We'll do that out there. We'll do a water blasting, a 40,000 PSI water blasting of a wall. and blow everybody away, and so they can see what that is and touch it and feel it. And again, this year we're going to do a big thing on drowning prevention, child safety, backyard safety. We all have something to do with this, but it's a lot of fun. It's a fun event. A lot of vendors come out and support it. We have a tabletop.
And this is all done at our warehouse in Orange.
Yeah, we have a couple acres with a big 20,000 square foot building, and we're able to situate it in a way that it's room for everybody.
Very cool. I think we were trying to plan a trip out there for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, love to have you guys.
So how can people find out more information about that if they want to attend? You have it on Facebook, right?
Yeah, it's on Facebook. We have an Eventbrite page where you can RSVP, so we have a little bit of a head count. But I'll get that to you guys too. I'll get some more information.
We should probably put it on our website.
We should.
Yeah, there's a big spot right on the front, Service Appreciation Day, and we'll advertise it probably here in the Ipsen Service Industry News. Maybe run an ad there. That's a good idea to do something like that.
Yeah.
Because they're all behind it, and some of those folks have been to the industry. Trade press has been to them. Nice. They like it.
Yeah, we'll put the links and stuff in the notes. That'd be good if you get me the links to your stuff. So
and make sure to put it in our email as well. Make sure that people in the Orange County, Southern California area know what's going on so they can attend.
For sure.
And it's really simple concept, but almost everybody goes there. So this was great. We got a lot of information, but more than that, we have a lot of our staff there, and they're interacting with everybody, and it's kind of like a little team building, right? You get to know everybody in the business. People are nice, right? And they get to know each other and get those relationships and talk to people about a tile or plumbing, an expert that really knows how to do all that, and have access to those installers, have conversations they normally can't have with other people. Just a venue to do something different. And so it's fun.
Yeah. Everyone can see our showroom. We do tours of the whole warehouse for some guys who want to go in the back and see kind of how the sausage is made. You can take them around the facility, and we do
go look at our waste management. That's always fun, right? In the back.
Well, and also we do have a lot of people that will come from out of the area too. It's not just we're open to everybody. We have other plasterers that come. We have builders that come. It's really open to everybody. We're not going to close it off just as long as it's pool service professionals.
This is Randy Angel with Randy Angel Designs in Dallas, Texas. As a designer of outdoor living, one of the things I enjoy most is working with incredible industry partners such as Ledge Lounger. I'm always looking for new and exciting products to include in my design presentations that will set my designs apart from the competition. With Ledge Lounger's 3D files available for all their product lines, I can create my spaces around the specific pieces I have in mind for the project. From their more well-known in-water product lines to their new outdoor furniture and games, it's as easy as drag and drop, and my clients get to see my vision with clarity. And do you know what I've come to realize? The more clearly I can present the vision, the more focused my clients are on completing the project as designed. And this means an added revenue stream for my company as we complete more and more Ledge Lounger purchases. Download 3D design resources for Ledge Lounger's full collection at ledgeloungers.com/cat.
So going back to what are some things a pool service company should consider when referring a remodel company? Because I'm thinking about us and when we needed it, since we don't do remodels, but a lot of our customers and inquiries coming in were asking if we could remodel their pool. How do you go about finding the best remodel company for your business?
If you're a service tech and you don't know where to start, I think a good place to start is go to the NPC website, npconline.org, and maybe do a quick search of people in your area. And that's a good start just to see if someone's involved in the industry. That's a good indicator that they know what they're doing. That'd be one place to start, and make sure they have the proper licensing, the C53. Check out their online reviews. Ask some of your friends who've been around, pool service friends that have been around for 20 plus years.
Yeah, because all that stuff's online, right? I mean, especially if you go to your website, you can see a contractor's license number and see all the different certifications and all the reviews on all the different websites and things like that. For you guys have all
that's
that.
true, but I still think talking to your peers, let's say you're a new service tech and you have a customer that wants a plaster, maybe talk to someone who's seen.
Yeah.
They maybe have a route of 80 pools and they've seen 4 or 5 different companies do their pools, that's a good place to start in your area. IPSA member, someone in your IPSA chapter or UPA chapter.
Yeah, I think that's good. Using that piece and then kind of doing a background check because, we've learned to not take everything everybody says. Even some of the most influential people that have been in our life and our start figured out that they actually didn't really know very much. They were very, seemed like they know what they were talking about, but come to find out, don't know as much as, we thought they did.
Right.
So I think you always have to you got to go above and beyond because your reputation is on the line as well. Can't tell you how many times we recommended somebody and they did a terrible job. And thank God the homeowners actually called us back and said, just want to let you know they did this and you might want to be careful when recommending them.
And if you're not comfortable referring someone, just you don't want to put your name on the line. So just, it's better to say nothing.
Yeah. And what I would do, say if I was a service guy putting in their shoes, like start referring somebody. Well, again, let's be professional about this, okay? And think about it. You might get 2 or 3 references, right? Now, this is going to be an ongoing relationship. This isn't going to be a one-hit wonder, right? You're going to be in this business 15, 20, 30 years maybe, and you want to get a relationship with a good replaster, remodel contractor. Get 3 names, do the background checking. And I've had this happen. A couple guys have done this, with quite a few, and I really liked it. And they called us up. So we've gotten your name for several people, sounded really good. We'd like to recommend you. Great. Why don't you come on over? I'll give you a tour of the shop, meet the players. Let's go out to breakfast. Start that relationship. Eyeball to eyeball. What do you guys got? What happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? Give me some scenarios. What are you looking for? What do you want us to do? What do you don't want us to do? It goes back and forth. Is there a referral fee? Is there a warranty? What kind of warranty? What's your customer service policy? All that stuff. And interview them, right? And let's make a profession out of this. Not just, is your referral fee $50 more than that guy's? Which some people, it's all about that. I think that would be the professional way to do it. And I think anybody that wants a good referral from a service guy would really welcome that kind of scrutiny or invitation. So I think that's a good way to figure it out. Get that relationship started.
And what should you expect? What should a service company expect from a remodel company? Because the way our relationship worked, and it worked out beautifully, where we did work with CDC and Cassie that you met at the show many, many years ago. Yeah. But it worked out so good because we knew their reputation, but she also kept us in the loop where things were in the process with the customer. I mean, they hadn't even started on the pool yet, but they said, hey, so-and-so signed up, really looking forward to working with them. We're going to start on this date, but we just got a constant update on where things were. It looks like it'll be done next week. Just want to let you know that your check is in the mail, And, we had worked that out, but didn't even have to think about it anymore. It was just consistent, never had to worry about it. And that was awesome for us because we were so used to giving leads to people that,
never hearing back from them.
Never hear back from them. They're just, their company's blowing up or something's going on, all the marketing efforts and all our hard work that we did to get our reputation to where we can't even, take on every little thing. But having, somebody in place, and for service companies, it's so important. You can make a little extra money and you don't do remodels anyway. Build that relationship up. And if I were in your guys' area, I would partner up with you guys, but I'd also, like to know more about pools. There's a lot of service companies that don't know as much. It's like, hey, can you talk to us about, I want to understand plumbing more. Oh, you guys do a, service tech appreciation day. What's that about? It's like, those are all you want to open those doors and network with people. That's how you become better. That's how your team becomes better.
Well, and everybody listening to this podcast just heard you give a litmus of great suggestions or requirements to do business with somebody. Say, you know what? I want to refer you, but here's what I'd like back. I'd like to get a phone call of where you're at in the process. I'd like to know once we got paid and a referral fee or whatever is in the mail. Just say this, here's what I'd like. Here's the kind of communication I'd like back from you guys. Are you guys capable or willing to do that? You're the customer now. You're the referral source. So letting us know how to serve you, because some people don't want to know. Don't bug me. Just tell me when it's done. They're busy. And then other people want to know everything. Customers are the same way. Homeowners. Some homeowners just say, tell me when you're done and nothing in between. And other people want to call in the morning, call in the afternoon, or text in the middle of the afternoon. Everybody communicates different. And service guys are the same way. Some of you guys just want a lot of information. Where we're at in the process, you like that on flow of information. As long as you let us know or the plaster know what you expect, it's up to them to perform.
On one of the other episodes Alan was on, he talked about the communication with the homeowners, and they get an email and they get CC'd on this. Well, we bring that also to the whoever referred us if they want to be on the email chains to see what's going on with their project, so they know when it's getting plastered, so they know when we're going to be done with the startup. We do include them in that if they want.
For the service company?
Yeah, if they refer us. And
that's so awesome, because that is huge for our business. Can't tell you how many, it has such a huge impact for one of our guys to go to a house to find out that, they're remodeling it. The stuff is heavy. It's hot outside. They're dragging their equipment through a backyard to find out that
it's empty.
It's what I mean? Or it's chipped out or what's going on.
Surprise.
But it didn't only waste their time, but you just broke their spirits down, because they feel like, dude, just wasted my time getting all my shit to come back here and da-da-da-da.
Yeah, nobody communicated.
Yeah. I mean, we always paid them for that pool, because we're like, you know what? Just because they didn't communicate it to us, we're going to take that hit, and we'll talk to them and see what the heck is going on. But that's why it's really good to have that communication with the remodel company. And
we try, if we have the information. What we also do is, if we know we were referred by a service tech and we have all their information, we start it up front with the sales rep, calls the service tech, lets them know, hey, I'm going to be out there and bidding this project. Anything you don't want me to bid? Do you want to handle the lights, the equipment? Do you want to do the startup? We take that really seriously, and we do not want to. We understand that, hey, maybe a heater install maybe he does 2 of them a year, and that's his fund money. We don't want to take their fund money
or any of their money they want. So
yeah.
And every once in a while we slip up. And guy forgets it or his notes, or the homeowner might say, we don't want him doing it. We want one guy to do everything. You guys, we have to call the service provider back and say, here's what the customer said. What do we do? And all due respect for you, we'll walk away from the bid if it's going to cause conflict.
I would just ask for a bigger cut.
Yeah.
And just do all of it.
We can handle it that way. But I think the important thing is we have the conversation. Service tech knows that we're trying. We care. Hey, we might get it right 90% of the time. If we don't get it right, we'll handle it later and we'll fix it. But where our intentions are to really protect the service rep that referred us. Now, if they didn't refer us, we can't really help that if we don't know who the service person is involved in that project. But if they referred us, we've got a good relationship. Yeah, we'll take care of them.
And we've had some service guys that are pretty sore. We come in, homeowner asks us to bid the pool, plaster, tile, coping, and all new equipment. And, and at that time, we don't know who their service provider is. And we're doing what the customer asks us to do. And the service guy says, you came in and got my equipment. Well, it might not be his equipment. It's the homeowner's equipment, right? And the homeowner wanted us to do it. We tell him, what did you want us to do? We wouldn't sign the job if we didn't do that. And you didn't recommend us. If you would have recommended us and said, I want the equipment, we would have kept our hands off. Maybe they didn't have anybody they're recommending. Maybe they did. But whatever it is, that situation arises. And that's been uncomfortable a number of times. Other guys completely get it because it's reasonable to understand that, right? But still, losing an equipment set for some guys is a big deal. And we're not trying to rob it from them. We're just trying to do what the customer asks us to do.
Sure. And we can definitely understand that. In the earlier years, that would have been, we wouldn't have made a problem out of it, but we probably wouldn't be happy about it because the customer should contact us for all their pool needs, not just pool service, but it's like equipment, remodel, features, anything you can think of that has to do with the pool, like let us know. But I think you need to make it much more transparent on your website. And when you're having that initial bid as a service company, in letting them know, like, if there's anything that you need, like, please contact me first. And if you have a relationship with a remodel company, have the remodel company on your website so that, you can make sure that you're tracking that it's going through that funnel or it's going from your website to, you guys. But just make sure, we can't always assume anything, assume that the homeowner knows, that you don't do that. But I did want to ask, when it comes to the equipment, Is it easier if you guys, so if somebody wants all new equipment, is it easier for you guys to do the remodel and do the equipment? Because you guys are doing the startup as well. I don't know. It seems like it would be a little bit trickier in coordinating with a service company, because I know us dealing with other subs and things like that, it was always a little tricky, especially if they weren't on time.
Yeah, that's just another layer of complexity a little bit, but it's not difficult for us. I mean, to get the job referred by them is more important than a little bit of difficulty, right? So, no, we can work around that as long as we're communicating and we know all that. And worst thing that happens is you plaster the pool, the equipment's not in, right? And then he's got to get it in before it's filled. And if it isn't, you got to throw something in there to circulate water for a few times. It's not fatal,
Right.
but or if there's an inspection involved where it's got to be because of the equipment. So, but that's up to us to communicate with them and for them to perform. It's nothing that's hard to overcome. But in the scheme of things, maintaining the relationship and letting them do it if that's what he wants is totally worth it to us. Completely 100% worth it to us to have them do the equipment.
I think a lot of times with CDC, it's what we would do the equipment set first before they even did the remodel. And then we would work that relationship out. So the equipment was already done, and then they took their part from there. So that kind of, we would schedule it and we would do our part first, and then they would do theirs. That's how.
Yeah, just don't set the equipment while the plaster crew's there and have water start draining out of the return lines, right? So in the middle of the job, right? That's never a good thing.
No.
Sounds like it all goes back to communication, even back to if the service tech communicates with the homeowner and doesn't just drop in and leave, they're more likely to let them know that, hey, we do equipment repairs. Hey, we do all this other stuff. So
we've got a great referral for plaster if you ever need one.
Yeah.
Let them know that you know that. So
communication's huge.
And this might be kind of like a no-brainer to people, but it's really not that easy. But if you make it a habit, like put that stuff on the calendar. I think that's something that we were trained to do very well. Like we would damn near pull over on the side of the road, like into a street, to make sure that put this on the calendar, to contact them, to let them know this, or follow up with so-and-so to make sure that whatever's going on, like
you're deliberate. You're very
stack that calendar up, because all that, even if there's 50 things on there, that's 50 things that you get to go through and just handle. Oh, already talked to them, move it over here, whatever you got to do. But stack that calendar up, because there's so many things going on, especially for what you guys do. Like you're going to drop the ball at some point in time. And if you think you're going to remember everything or track every little sticky note that, you try to, while you're driving, it's impossible.
Well, you got to be deliberate. That's, part of the skill set of managing. And you have to have, call extreme ownership. You have to take ownership of your customer, your job, and everything. And how you orchestrate that and engineer that is part of being a good businessman or anything. So there's a lot to it.
When you're giving somebody your word and if you don't follow through with it, your word becomes nothing, to a lot of people. So
that hurts more than anything to me.
But we took that personally though.
Yeah.
When we would drop the ball and a customer would come and be like, dude, I thought you said da. And it rarely happened, but when it did, we took it like
it hurts.
We were frustrated, but it was like frustrated with ourselves, like, dude, how did I let that happen? And it was like that one time we decided, like, I'm not going to put on the calendar. I'm not going to do that. And that's where you get screwed in that. But, do things right, put on the calendar and get that communication where it needs to be. Because once you do that, that feeling that, everything is working the way it needs to is like the best feeling in the world, when everything is just running like a machine. Things are going to happen, but that feeling that things are just working because you're working hard to make sure that you're organized, it's like the greatest feeling in the world.
Well-oiled system, everybody doing their job. That's a good feeling. Yeah, you're right.
Because when you wake up in the morning, like, I feel good, man, because I got all my shit done yesterday. Mm-hmm. I know what I got to do today. It's not a good feeling waking up like, oh shit, what happened yesterday? Then your phone's already blown up. Your email's like, I'm in yesterday mode. I'm trying to think about yesterday.
I have 3 or 4 really difficult conversations I have to make today, and I just don't look forward to those. And you got to put a trash can over your head, right? So.
Eat the Frog is a really good book on what we're talking about right now for anybody.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Morning. Getting
Eat
stuff
the
done.
frog.
Eat the Frog.
Do the hardest thing first in the day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good book.
And another thing we kind of notice when we go out and we do some of these remodels, we'll see some of these old systems that maybe should have been updated 10 years ago, old heaters, old pumps. And when we come to talk to the homeowner, like, oh, no one's ever brought this up to me. The service techs never brought it up to me. I don't know why it is that maybe they weren't confident. They thought the homeowner wasn't willing to spend the money. Is it they didn't have a good relationship with the homeowner? But these people are, if you know what you're talking about and you're confident and you really think you can help them, they're willing to upgrade things. I don't know if that's sales training for some service techs, if it's what it is, but I think if more people would talk to their customers more, they'd realize that they're willing to upgrade things. Maybe just more communication needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of always surprised by when we bring up, and I've done a lot of estimates myself, a customer of alternate sanitizing methods besides using a floater. Tell me about ozone. Tell me about UVM. They're all ears. They want to know, right? People know about salt systems more and more, but there's a lot of even misinformation about that with them. But boy, you bring it up, they want to know. Most every one of them. And it's just like they never heard it. So, and then you have some service guys that are all on top of it, right? And they're always showing best practices to homeowners. But there's a whole lot of them that don't know about automation. Tell me about that. I can do it off my cell phone. I'd love to have my spawn when I got home. I hit it at the office when I left. You bring it up like that, and they go, yeah, how do I do that? It's been this way for 20 years. I didn't know you could do that. So just bringing it up, and I think there's a lot of room in the service industry to do that.
At least bring it up.
Right.
Not saying you're sealing the deal, but at least if they have a single speed pump, like why not discuss with them that they can save money and have an energy efficient pump? Like, why would you not do that? I'd always, every time being in the backyard, be like, you know what, this pump is working great, but I will tell you it's a single speed pump and it's drawing a lot more power and it's much more expensive. There's, pumps on the market called variable speed pumps and they do X, Y, and Z. I'm just letting you know about it. It's not something you need to do right now, but just wanted to put it on your radar. It's that easy. You got a pamphlet with you. Boom, take this, throw it on your fridge, whatever. But putting it on their radar so when that scenario happens, they can at least be like, oh, yeah, pool guy told me about that. Don't worry about it.
Well, I think the last couple of years, we really started to send out intentional emails like that. Like during when heater season would come around, we would send out email campaigns. Hey, did you know we can upgrade your heater? Or, variable speed pumps we did, I think, in, February or something. But it was like we tried to kind of remind them, hey, we do all this stuff. So if you want it or know more information, and a lot of times they would reach out. We would probably get, we had 400 pools. You probably get 30 responses right away that were like, oh, tell me more. Maybe close 5 or 6 of them, but at least, it's 5 or 6 you weren't going to close yesterday. So
yeah, we found video's been very powerful for us. So what we'll do is we'll send like a video of someone talking about a variable speed pump. I think there's one on YouTube that goes about 10 minutes long, but it's very, very informative. It has some real life people showing their electrical bills. They're showing how much they're saving a month. It's got a lot of credibility to these videos, and sometimes the video can be a little more convincing than us. Maybe the homeowner takes that more seriously, so we try to leverage that in our business. We use videos.
It's like a third-party verification or something.
Yeah, I believe everything I see on the internet. Right? So,
so do I.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool too because it's a one-and-done thing.
Even a video of yourself. Some of our sales staff will take videos. They'll videotape the pool that they're estimating. Maybe the homeowner's not there, and they walk around the pool. Hey, this is what I'm bidding. Here's the mastic. Here's the loose scoping. Here's the equipment. Here's what I recommend. They make a little video on their phone and they send that with the proposal. And that we've found it's a little more effective than
because you're explaining it, and that's why we always wanted to be in the backyard with the customer if possible. In the beginning, we tried to avoid it because we didn't really want to talk to the customers. But as we learned,
because we didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. As we learned more stuff, we then got more confident in it.
Faking it, huh?
Yeah, I then got more confident in it, and then we wanted to be there in the backyard because we could actually point out to the customer why we wanted to replace something rather than an email that says, "Hey, your pump's leaking. This is $1,400." That way, if you film videos and explain "Oh, this is exactly what it is, and this is what the proposal is showing, then.
And I know we had the luxury of
better.
being with the homeowner most of the time, but I know service techs, you're kind of in and out. And also when you explain something to people, they don't remember most of what you said. You understand all that equipment, it's second nature to you, but it's a big mystery to these homeowners. So if they have a video, you buy what you understand. If you don't understand what's going on, you're going to shy away from it. So educating the homeowner, the more you know. Water chemistry. If you know water chemistry front and backwards, we sell a lot of the IntelliChem systems, automations, because we can explain the benefits, handle the tough questions. If you don't understand water chemistry, you're really not going to sell those types of systems. You're not going to sell UV systems. You're not going to sell IntelliChems. It's out of your comfort zone. So that goes back to what we talked earlier, just education and learning water chemistry.
Yeah, most definitely. And I was saying what I did earlier because the first year and a half, we didn't do any repairs. We were just dialed in on service. And, if there were repairs that needed to be done, since we didn't really know too much about them, we would just find the repairs and then we would, pretty much sub out those repairs until we linked up with, we were like, dude, we were asking everybody who can help us. And then we got linked up with a representative from SCP, Mark Hernandez, which was like the biggest godsend ever. He's out there teaching us lights and automation and all that good stuff.
Yeah, you sell what you know. And if you're not set up for doing all that stuff, you're so busy just on the service side of things. Your business model hasn't got you to having a full-time repair guy or installation guy yet. And so you're not selling that stuff yet. And yeah, it evolves.
But there's so many opportunities out. I mean, just from when we stopped in December, the pool service, and we were doing so many cool, big things. It's nowhere near what we know now. It's like, man, if we could go back in time, like could have been, doing things much, much different.
Oh yeah, doors open of opportunity.
Yeah. Well, it's just more the what we've learned, and just talking to so many people, even the things that we're discussing with you guys. It's just there's just certain things you didn't really think about to look at while you were out there, and building more relationships with other professionals in our area and how we can help each other, and because they're learning that the industry is not as dark as we thought it is or was. I think we were just like, it's just like, dark place and nobody, and it is that, it is a little bit of that, but I also think there's a lot of good people out there that
a lot of bright spots.
Yeah. That we didn't see before.
And a lot of it is what you make of it.
Yeah.
In anything, you apply and you live life and you get involved. It's going to be a lot better than if you're just throwing rocks from behind the curtain, right? So you jump in with both feet and get involved and with a great attitude, and every day is a gift, and it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, we want to be like you guys, set a good example. I think you guys are setting the best example, and other companies should want to mirror that. It doesn't just have to be us doing something. It doesn't have to be just you guys. We should all collectively be doing, customer appreciation, barbecues, whatever we can possibly do. You should be doing to, make your business better, make your team feel more appreciated. There's all kinds of different things that you can do on any budget. But just listening to you guys, it's like all these ideas.
Well, we appreciate the people that refer us. We do it out of a customer appreciation. We appreciate our customers. We really, really do. And so it's fun for us. It's a lot of work, but we really enjoy it. That's the fun part of the business.
We can't even be here today or even do these events if we didn't have an incredible team back at home that's holding down the fort. That allows Alan and I the freedom to do a lot of these things that we're talking about. So,
and I feel bad we haven't brought that up more. Yeah,
huge shout out to the incredible team we have at the office. So.
Yeah, that's over the years. Our strength is our team. All the way through from installers all the way up to management. I like to use the word blessed. I mean, it is a blessing. That's a great description of the honest, hardworking people that we've been able to surround ourselves and attract. And you only are as good as the people that you have around you. So being able to take time off to do things like this and get away, and we don't even have to think twice about suspicion, not trusting anything. It's probably doing better if we're not there because we're out of the way, right? Kind of thing. So I'm kind of not kidding, So, but that's been a tremendous resource.
Sometimes,
yeah, it's given me the ability to be away from the office doing other very important things in my life enough that I could be involved with other things. And so it's been something I have always cherished. So, yeah.
Very good. Well, this has been extremely informative, and just want to thank you guys once again for discussing all of this with us.
Of course, our pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for checking out this episode. If you want to find out more about our guests or the sponsors of the show, you can check them out on the links we have provided in the write-up below. We have also provided links to our social media platforms, so please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Our tag is Pool Chasers. If the podcast has brought you any value, please do what you can to support us through our Patreon page by going to patreon.com/poolchasers. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast to be updated each time a new episode is released. One last thing. If you're not yet in our Facebook group, join it today to be surrounded by like-minded individuals who are all trying to better the industry. Thank you all for the support. We appreciate your time and your ear.
See you out there, Pool Chasers.